What's going on, everybody? Chad, Adler. Hang on. There you go. Now you can hear me. Ever since I did that video about the bumper install, and I included a picture of Kevin, I've had several messages, people asking me if I'm Kevin's brother. No, we're not brothers. We're brothers in Christ. But other than that, we're both just extremely good looking. I know that sounds... I appreciate you guys. Just being funny. Today's video is a little bit different. I've already fed all the animals, and I apologize I didn't take you guys along, but there's reason for that. On my last rabbit hutch video, as I've mentioned, I think it's north of like 56,000 views. And the people who are going to want to watch a video of me making a rabbit hutch may not understand a full vlog. Plus, I'm pressed for time. So I ran to Atwood's, I grabbed some supplies. I ran to Mom and Dad's, grabbed some supplies. And now we're headed to my house. Like I mentioned, you think that board will stay back there? Let's find out. Like I mentioned, there's something a little bit different with Speedy, and I'm really excited about it. When you farm without a farm, which is what I'm doing, and I'm on a private road here, but now I'll put my seatbelt on for you. So, because it's still a county road, but when you farm without a farm, it's a cool thing. It really is. There's nothing wrong with it. Whether you pay the man that owns the land monthly, or you pay him up front, or whatever your arrangement is, it's a great arrangement if that's what works best for you, and that is what works best for us right now. With that said, the city I live in, which is about 8 minutes away, little small town, there's no ordinances against certain livestock, certainly small livestock, and rabbits are one of them. Rabbits is one of them. Rabbits are one of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep Speedy and one of the does, Winkin' or Blinkin', at the house. So I know you can't break up Winkin' and Blinkin', they're a pair, but I know. Gary and Cassie Walker, as you guys know, where we get our rabbits from, they know all about rabbits. Since we're going to now be breeding Winkin' and Blinkin', they can't be together. Mama rabbits are very protective of their babies, and we know Speedy is going to be able to get the job done. So we're going to have to build actually 2 hutches, and that's okay. Now, somebody did reach out to me about Nod. Kind of grown fond of the guy. I don't know if I'm going to let him go or not. They wanted him as a pet. They didn't want him as a meat rabbit, so that's okay. So, and he's a meat rabbit, but he's a mix. He's about half the size of a silver fox. So there's not a lot of meat there. But if they take Nod, we may not need another hutch, but we may not need 2 hutches. We'll just need 1. I went to Atwood's. I looked at some of their prefabbed metal cages, because with the price of lumber, I was really tempted to just get a metal cage. Now they're still $60 or $70, but Dad grabbed us some lumber at Lowe's a few weeks back. It's just been sitting in the driveway. We've got plans for some of it. Some of it we had extra, and we've got one of these siding panels, which I'll show you will be really good for the rabbit hutch. So I decided against it, and I'm just going to build one. Now, this isn't going to be this board is 24 inches, this board is 48 inches, this measurement here is 18 inches. I'm not doing all that. I don't have time. It's 2 by 4. It's 2 feet by 4 feet. It's 2 feet wide by 2 feet tall by 4 feet long. It's a rectangle to the millimeter. That's what I do. The reason I do that is because I've got 2 by 4 by 8s. They're the perfect measurement. The hardware cloth that I buy is 48 inches wide, so I rip it right down the middle, and I can wrap my entire chicken coop. I can wrap my entire rabbit hutch in just one roll of that. So all said and done, even if I counted the 2x4s and the lumber, the material that Dad bought, all said and done, this is still only going to cost me about $50 and a little bit of time. So I passed on the wire metal cage. Plus, these are a lot more attractive looking. You know, now if I had 30 or 40 meat rabbits, I don't have time to build 30 or 40 hutches. In that instance, I would go with the metal route. Plus, they're gonna last a long time. They're gonna be easier to clean because you need to hose them off, you know. But these hutches that I build, some of you are gonna say, well, you gotta get those off the ground. You gotta raise them up. You gotta this, that. We're in the city. There's no predation pressure. We have a fence around the house. There's no pressure, okay? If you wanted to get it up off the ground, just add legs. Just add taller legs. That's all you gotta do. Now, with that said, the 2 hutches I have out at the farm with 3 rabbits in them, they're not up on stilts. They're right there on the ground. The difference is Smokey, our livestock guardian dog, is a foot away from those rabbit hutches at all times. And there's 2 narrow alleys of fence that lead to those rabbit hutches, and I just don't think any critters are brave enough to try. Plus, they're extremely well built. Pretty hard to break into, but these things are extremely easy. I'm gonna throw this together super quick, and hopefully if we have time, it might carry into tomorrow's video, or at least I might have to videotape a little bit tomorrow, but we'll see. I would love to run get one of the girls and put her with Nod. I'd love to run get one of the females, our does, and put her with Speedy in this video so you guys can see it, man. Y'all ever, there's a clicking in the car. So let's get to the house, let's get some tools, and let's party. See if there's anything not YouTube friendly-ish. Okay. I had to make sure there was nothing YouTube wouldn't like to see in the background. Sorry for the limited camera views. I'm in a neighborhood, like I mentioned, I don't live at my farm. And in case I forgot to mention earlier about Speedy living at the house with us, I'm super excited about that because I miss having animals at the house. I miss having animals in the backyard. So anyway, super excited about that, but I'm in a neighborhood and just the houses around me, I'm just trying to help everybody have their own privacy as well. My neighbor this way, pretty sure he's figured out I do something on YouTube. I did have a couple of people reach out to us that actually are very, very close, and that was pretty cool. They've kind of got their own homestead and they've used some of our ideas and things we've been through, and it's pretty cool. It's an awesome little community as we hit 5,000 here. I think at the time I'm filming this, it's 11:30 on Tuesday, and that is pretty stinking cool. I'm amazed, blown away, shocked, grateful. I have no idea why 5,000 people want to watch me pretend and grow and learn and be a farmer, but you know, I sincerely appreciate it. So anyway, I say all that to say, sorry for the limited views. I'm just trying to protect everybody's privacy and my own, because out of 5,000 of y'all, one of you is crazy, let's be honest. I'm gonna link that rabbit hutch video down below. I've put an iCard somewhere in the video, I assure you. That is what I'm gonna build. I'm going to build the exact same thing, okay? It's 2 feet by 4 feet, made out of 2x4s, okay? So that's what I'm gonna do. This will set you back about 60 bucks. And mine have been sitting outside in the elements for over a year and they're doing just fine. No paint, no coatings, just regular old pine from your big box. Anyway, I'm gonna make some cuts. I have a lot of DeWalt tools. If you're new here, a lot. There's a link in the description if you wanna see every DeWalt tool I own. I just like DeWalt. I've dropped them off the roof of a house and they still work. I've left batteries out in the snow or in the back of the truck for months and they still work. That's that, let's build something. Speaking of neighbors. First thing you do, 4 cuts. okay? 2 cuts, 4 boards, 4 feet long. Those are your horizontals. Next, what you gotta remember here is you don't wanna make your, see, how can I show you guys this? I'm gonna talk to you guys like my junior high shop teacher would. If we want something that's 2 feet by 4 feet, we've got our base right here like this. Now, one of the reasons I don't use the boards like this is the bottom of the cage. It'll be this tall, the hutch. One of the reasons you don't put it like this is because rabbits are gonna poop all over that. So let's give them as narrow a surface to poop and pee on as possible, okay? And then the other side of that is, this is also stronger having your boards this way. But we want this to be 2 feet from here to here, from outside to outside. Outside to outside, we want it to be 2 feet. So we don't want to cut another board to 2 feet because we got to take into account these ends. And every 2x4, even as rough as these look, are actually 1.5 inches wide. 1.5 inches. We want to cut a couple of boards to be our runners, front to back. Handy dandy carpenter's pencil. And you can use the board you just cut to measure the next ones, as long as you hit that 21 inches on the nose. But keep in mind, when you make your mark, okay, you don't want to cut right on that mark. I know that's brutal, but this is not my first time building something. You don't want to make your cut right on that mark because your saw blade is actually 1/8 of an inch thick. So you want to cut just to the inside, the scrap side. This is the board we want. This is the scrap side of that line. Get much better than that. All right. Hang on, I wasn't prepared. So I got my 2 squares. That's my top and my bottom. And it never fails. There's always a carpenter in the group that if you ask 15 carpenters something, you're gonna get 15 different answers. If you have 15 gardeners something, you're gonna get 15 different answers. And you know which one's right? Whichever one works best for you. I learned that from my boy Jason down at Cog Hill, okay? I toenailed these in the interest of time. You even saw me screw some into the end grain. Now, you don't always want to do that. What I mean by that is, when you have another board laying across here and you screw into this, think of this end grain like a bunch of straws. There's nothing for the screw to grab onto. That's why I angled my screws like this into the next board. Makes it a little bit stronger, and total transparency, I'm almost out of screws and I don't want to stop this build or the video to run get screws. So I'll add screws later, but there's no set number of screws, guys. I mean, we're keeping in rabbits. I know Speedy's a beast, but we're keeping in rabbits, not camels, okay? So now the next cuts we need to make are the verticals to make it stand up, right? Like we gotta have depth to the cage, the height. 2x4s, even though they're 2 by 4, are 1.5 inches wide, 1.5 inches thick. 1.5 inches thick, 3.5 inches wide. So 3.5 and 3.5 is 7. We're trying to get to 2 feet. So 24 minus 7, carry the 9, 17. So we need our verticals. We need 4 17-inch verticals. Close enough. Close counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. All right. See how beautifully that worked? And here's a trick. I've shown this in every single one of my build videos. Quail hutch, rabbit hutch, all that good stuff. Stagger your staples. It's like this one's, let's call it horizontal, vertical, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, catty corner, okay? But mix them up. Don't just come right down here and go boom, 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 boom on every single one, because putting them like that will allow your hardware cloth to shift. But being that they're, you know, this one's diagonal and it's kind of tight to the right there. See that? See how it's, that one's dead center, that doesn't count. See how that's tight to the right? And this one's tight to the top, middle. They're staggered. They're not uniform, okay? With that said, let's rip this edge right now, and don't take your grinding wheel and go right down this edge, okay? Get in here and hug this, so when you go to pick this up later, you have to move it. You know, you're not ripping your fingers up. Staple some of this, but that's totally okay. All right, let's wrap the rest of it. All right, hang on. Just got the phone with my beautiful mama, and I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble if I don't wear a pair of gloves, because she got me, I think, 3 pairs for Christmas. So I better throw one of these on to protect my fingers, if nothing else. And I'll link these down below, they're pretty sick. So, if you ask me why I'm breathing heavy right now, it's because I just built that in about 37 minutes. Pretty proud of myself. Don't look at the neighbor's house. You don't know where I live. So I know what some of you are gonna say. Get that thing off the ground. Critters are gonna get it. I'm in the middle of the city, man. Middle of the city, okay? When I first had rabbits before I had the farm, we lived in the middle of the city, and I built this exact same rabbit hutch. Here's the link down below. I can't stress that enough. This is okay. If you can build this, you can build your own stilts if you need to get yours up off the ground. But like I've already mentioned, mine are still on the ground at the farm, just like this, not on stilts. Different things for different farms. Everybody's gonna do their own thing. As far as the wire floor goes, you need to put something in there so that the rabbits can get off the wire floor if they need to. I'm actually gonna give Speedy a 2x12 over there up against that wall so that he can get on and off of that if he wants to get off the wire. You wanna use untreated, clean pine, in my opinion. That's just how I am. That's what I'm gonna use. He's also gonna get a cubby so he can hop in and out of the wind if he needs to. The reason I have the solid wall, I always have one mesh wall and one solid wall for airflow, because rabbits are actually, they're very cold hardy. It's the heat that can take them out. Nobody knows this except for the walkers and myself, but this summer, Gary and Cassie brought us another silver fox buck. And sadly, I don't really know what happened, but I got a feeling it was heat stroke. He was a younger buck, call me new to the game, and I thought he was okay. Now, all three of our other rabbits we had at that time, they were okay, but sadly he didn't make it. Total transparency, guys, that's how we roll. With that said, you wanna make sure they can get cool. Now, what I do is, you can get a 12x12 piece of ceramic tile and put it in their hutch, and then they can hop on that when they're hot and they wanna cool off, because that ceramic tile stays cold all the time. As far as the lid goes, I'm gonna add hinges. This is that smart siding from Lowe's. It's kind of stinking expensive. I actually prefer the vinyl corrugated roofing, which is what I'm gonna probably get and add to it. But this is technically primed. I mean, it's safe for water. It's not gonna leak in on him or anything like that. Just in case there's any rogue neighborhood cats, I'm pretty confident Cabela keeps them out of the yard, so I'm not that worried. But I am gonna put like a brick or something on top of it, just to hold the lid down until I can get some hinges and a latch. But the reason I'm not doing that in this video is because I've already made one of myself doing that. Plus, everybody's gonna have a different situation. Some of y'all are gonna want the door on the front, which is perfectly fine. Just add a door on the front. If you've made it this far and you can't figure out the rest, add a door. Send me a message, I'll help you out. But literally a box, 2x4 box, wrapped in hardware cloth, nothing to it. As far as Speedy's dung and pee and all that stuff hitting the concrete floor right here, you probably don't want that. That's not gonna last very long. I am gonna move him. This is just for demonstration purposes and things like that. I also know, remember we rent this house, I also know the guttering is horrible everywhere except for right here. So if I don't want little buddy to float away, he's gotta be right here. So what I'll probably do is put a catch tray underneath there and start saving some of that for the garden here in the future. That's what I know. I'm trying to think of anything else that I didn't do. I'm sure you guys will let me know down in the comments. I've never had a video hit 55, 60,000 views, and it's incredible to me the things people come up with that I just didn't think of. But that's okay. This is a learning. I'm a student of YouTube still. Feel free to let me know down in the comments constructively, because remember, when you tell me something, somebody else may not have thought of that either. So don't fire at me like I'm a rabbit expert, okay? I'm not an expert craftsman. I've mentioned it before in my videos. I've built a few things. I know what I'm doing. A very, very wise craftsman, a handyman, probably unmatched, told me once upon a time, the greatest carpenters cover up their mistakes before anyone can see them. Everybody makes mistakes. So don't forget that when you watch this video. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. In case y'all didn't know, during this video, we hit 5,000 subscribers. Why? I think it's awesome. God bless you guys. We're having a ton of fun. Yeah, just good stuff, good family stuff. So I'll get some footage here later of Adler and Case putting Speedy in the cage, in the hutch, and yeah, then we'll bring one of the girls over to him sometime this week. So y'all be good. Don't work too hard. Be safe. Wash your hands. God bless. Deuces. See y'all.